Welcome in. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I am finally back from vacation. Appreciate all of your patience. I was in Key West with the homies. Shout out to JJ and Dylan. Then I flew up to Washington, D.C. for my sister's engagement party. Congratulations, Brooke, as well as John. As for what we're getting into on today's show, could the Eagles pull off a trade for Budda Baker? An idea that I really like. I frankly don't care about Dalvin Cook, but the Eagles could have some interest in the running back if he's cut, because as a trade candidate, way too expensive. And I'm going to explain deep dive analysis here at the end of the show why the Jalen Hurts contract is an absolute steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we get started, today's poll question is this, because Budda Baker is the reason why a lot of you are here, and if you're coming across the show for the first time, make sure you subscribe. But answer this question here in the comment section. Should the Birds trade for Budda the Baller? T for trade, P for pass. Sound off down in the comment section. Do you like my shirt? It's awesome. Do you like my tan? Yeah, I was in Key West. Well, this shirt is off the Rhone commuter collection, and you can get 20% off that commuter collection by using the code CHATSPORTS at Rhone.com/ChatSports. You think about it, right? Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and dress shirts a problem for so many people. They're loose fitting, they don't fit, they don't look good, they're way too long. You don't have to worry about that with Rhone, but also they have the most comfortable, breathable, flexible set of products, not just shirts, known to man. And here's why: products for every occasion, mobility is everything, four-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy whatever life throws your way. Me sitting beachside on Key West Island, heading up to Washington, D.C., hosting shows here at Chat Sports, or 18 holes of golf. They really have it all, too, as part of the commuter collection. Most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, as well as polos. Looking good is easy with Rhone, and it's time to feel confident without the hassle. That wrinkle release technology, you get to save money. You don't have to go to the dry cleaner. 100% machine washable, and it can get you through any workday and into whatever comes next. So head to Rhone.com/ChatSports. Use the promo code ChatSports to save 20% off for the Bird Gang. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/ChatSports and use the code ChatSports. So let's officially get it underway. I'm locked and loaded. Had a little rest and relaxation. Now it's time to bring the fire, and I'm ready to take some souls here at Chat Sports. A Budda Baker trade. Eagles considered one of the top destinations for Budda Baker for a couple of reasons. Now, here's why a deal for the star-studded safety, who is a chess piece on any defense, makes some sense. The Eagles need a safety. Why? They lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Marcus Epps in free agency, and I don't think that they would be kept from going after and targeting Budda Baker, even though they signed Terrell Edmunds. Why? Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in the National Football League. You can line him up anywhere across the football field. The Eagles now, after the Jalen Hurts contract extension, get this, have more than $20 million in cap space. So for those of you who are in the comment section saying, "What are you talking about? Clickbait. The Eagles can't even afford them." $20 million in cap space here in 2023. Budda Baker is a baller, so obviously Howie Roseman likes to stack up playmakers, and he'd be able to come in and be a great fit on this defense. You look at what he's done over the last 4 seasons, and what I really like about him, only 27 years old, he's a tackling machine who can line up in the slot, line up as a linebacker. You can send him home on some blitz packages, but of course he could play deep at that safety spot as well, coming off a 2022 campaign in which he had 111 tackles. The year before that, 98 back in 2020, 118. And for a safety to have 147 tackles in 2019 really is ridiculous. But it's not just the tackling efficiency and the tackling numbers. It's the tackles for loss. 10, 9, and 6 in 2019, 20, and 2021. A lot of pass breakups on that back end, and he has good instincts to pick off the football as well against some opposing quarterbacks. And yes, he would come to Philadelphia making a lot of money. But after the Eagles just restructured the contract for Jordan Mailata, that might open up some more money on that aforementioned $20 million that we just talked about to make Budda Baker even more feasible. He is the 7th highest paid safety in the NFL, under contract for the next couple of seasons. $14.7 million, really solid value. It's not Derwin James or Minka Fitzpatrick level. In fact, I think that's way too expensive. Jamal Adams never plays, and he's frankly not that good. He's making 17.5. For a player of Budda Baker's caliber to be under $15 million, I think that's pretty solid value. A little bit more than a guy who we talked about too in Kevin Byard of the Tennessee Titans. Before we continue to move forward on today's show, do me a favor. Share this video. Let your friends and your family members know what we're cooking up here on Eagles. Now, been a little while since I've been on air, even though we had those videos stacked up for when I was on vacation. Now I'm back. So if you want to tweet this video at me, you click share, the Twitter icon, post to Twitter, tag me at Chase_Senior for a retweet on Twitter. Let me know, hey, Chase, I'm glad you're back on the airwaves here on Philadelphia Eagles. Now we missed you, or you could tell me that you hate me as well. Now, what would Budda Baker cost? According to Albert Breer, via a trade, a 2nd or 3rd round pick. The thing with Philadelphia, they have a lot of draft capital at their disposal. And let me throw this out there, right? Budda Baker for 30th overall. You give the Arizona Cardinals a 1st round pick. I understand why you want high-quality players who are younger, cost-controlled, for the next couple of years. That's why some of these draft selections are paramount to a team's success, especially a team competing right now for a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, right? But are you going to get a better player at number 30 than Budda Baker? Yeah, probably not. Now, you're paying for that player in Budda Baker, but still, it does make it somewhat appealing. You give up a 2nd round pick, you're definitely not getting a player better than Budda Baker. Less money, of course. Better, no chance. Let's also follow the paper trail here, because does Budda Baker want to be a Philadelphia Eagle? Well, let's take a look at it, right? He said this after Jalen Hurts signed that contract extension on Twitter. Hard work always prevails. Congrats to Jalen Hurts. Best thing about a guy like him is the work never stops. And that's why I think this Hurts deal is a good one. Stay tuned. We're going to break down detailed contractual figures of it. And then you look at Budda Baker's most recent tweets. There was this quote from Jalen Hurts and the extension for Jalen Hurts. So has he put the Eagles Twitter notifications on? Is he following what the Eagles are doing in hopes that maybe he could play for Nick Sirianni? Well, you know, it's interesting. Back several weeks ago, he was on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams, viewer of the show, by the way. And this is what Budda Baker said about Nick Sirianni. Something that I really like about him is he is who he is. Just seeing that is definitely special as a player. So Budda Baker has taken notice of what Nick Sirianni does and how he navigates the locker room, how he carries himself as a head coach, and basically said, I would love to play for a player like that. Instead, now he has to play for a guy like Jonathan Gannon, if he does stay with the Cardinals, who, upon being introduced in the desert, pew, 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 shots, explosive, weird stuff. As he looked that player up and down, Nick Sirianni would never. And Nick Sirianni, better coach than Jonathan Gannon. Just some shade there. It's friendly shade. We're just having fun. So today's poll question, let's go back to it. Have you answered it yet? If not, do so right now. Should the Eagles trade for Budda Baker? T for trade or P for pass? Let us know down in the comment section. As for Dalvin Cook, this is pretty interesting here. Next team odds, you see the Eagles, 3rd in odds here behind the Miami Dolphins at plus 250, behind the Minnesota Vikings at plus 300. Then that's the Arizona Cardinals at 6-1 odds and the New England Patriots at plus 750. Now, here is the latest on Dalvin Cook from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. He said that the Vikings are leaving all options on the table when it comes to him. Fowler also told that all options kind of on the table, that he could be released closer to the draft if things don't work out. They had talked at least to one team about a trade in the past closer to free agency, so he is certainly a name to watch. Now, as a trade option, Dalvin Cook is not feasible for Philadelphia. It doesn't make any sense. Why? He's way too expensive. If he's cut, though, and then signed on a team-friendly deal, then maybe. Although I would probably side with not doing that, because the Eagles very cost efficient as for what they're paying their running backs currently on this roster, as we've detailed here on the show. Bleacher Report with some more contract details for Dalvin Cook. He's due to have the third highest salary cap hit, $14.1 million for a running back in 2023. Also a player that's declining, by the way. The Vikings also have the second most money, $22.4 million tied up in the position per Spotrac. You know how not to build a team? It's paying more than $22 million to running backs in 2023 when teams are airing it out, and you have Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins leading the charge. Trading Cook would save Minnesota $7.9 million with $6.2 million on the books in dead money for this upcoming season. Waiting until after June 1 to deal him would net even bigger savings, $11 million, while spreading the dead money equally across the next 2 years. For a team looking to acquire Dalvin Cook, doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? Because of how expensive he is. He's off injured, and the production has somewhat declined a little bit, although he's coming off a 2022 campaign in which he was really good. 264 carries for more than 1,100 yards, 4.4 average yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns. I'm just a little bit concerned of how the player ages considering the injury past. In 2020, that's what helped get him that big contract. And then in 2019, those 2 seasons combined, he's combining for 29 touchdowns on the ground. And every single season over the last 4, he has rushed for well over 1,000 yards. Now, rate your level of interest in Dalvin Cook. For me, I'm taking Bijan Robinson at number 10, honestly, because he makes this offense so much better. And the only negative about taking Bijan is that he is a running back, and he'd cost you $4 million. Dalvin Cook, if you trade for him, way too expensive. In free agency, maybe a veteran minimum type of deal, but I think he could get better offers and net those elsewhere. So rate your level of interest in Dalvin Cook on a scale of 1 to 100. Now let's shift gears and round out the show with the latest on this Jalen Hurts contract. Upon hearing about the Jalen Hurts contract, a lot of Eagles fans probably panicked at the thought that Jalen Hurts inked a deal that is the highest contract in the history of the National Football League. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to worry about that because Howie Roseman worked his magic. It might be the biggest deal in the history of the National Football League, but you have to look at how that contract is structured. Take a look at the Jalen Hurts cap hits over the next 4 years, and keep in mind on the back end of that, some dummy years, and the money does get a little bit larger. But over the next 4, when the Eagles have a Super Bowl window that is open and available to their disposal right now, the cap hits aren't that high. $6.15 million in 2023. Now they have $20 million in cap space this offseason. In 2024, it rises up to $13.5 million. In 2025, $21.77 million. And then the year after that, it increases by $10 million. But let's compare how Jalen Hurts' cap hits compare against other quarterbacks across the NFL. For instance, Deshaun Watson, his cap hit in 2024, $64 million. Jalen Hurts combined in 2023, 24, 25, and 26, $71 million. As for Ryan Tannehill, his cap hit in 2023, $36.6 million. Jalen Hurts' cap hit combined in 23, 24, and 25, $41 million. How about we shift our focus inside the NFC East? Daniel Jones' cap hit in 2024, $45 million. Hurts' cap hit spread out, combined over the next 3 years, $41 million over 3 seasons compared to Daniel Jones solely in 2024. So with how Jalen Hurts really stacks up against all these other quarterbacks in the NFL, this contract for the player that he is, considering his importance to the team, actually isn't all that expensive. So cue it up. Howie Roseman working his magic. This is thug life stuff right here. Gangster move by Howie Roseman to construct this contract like he did. And of course, shout out to his agent as well, female agent, who really did a great job in negotiating this deal. And it won't be long before somebody unseats Jalen Hurts as the highest paid player in the history of the NFL. Do you like the contract? Let me know once more. Be honest with me here, because we broke down the specifics of it, and I don't think it's bad. G for good value, E for too expensive. I think it allows the Eagles to have a quarterback who has gotten better every single year, who's the face of the franchise, has every intangible that you want in a starting quarterback, and you can still build a roster around him after looking at the cap hits that's deep and talented. And shout out to the homie Trizzy Trace, who rocked it yesterday, breaking down that breaking news of that Hurts contract being made official. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on Eagles Now.